Good morning, Preeti.
Good morning.
Can you briefly introduce yourself?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. My name is Preethi. I'm from Hyderabad, Telangana. Sir, currently I am enrolled in the Indian Police Service through CSE 2024. Before this, I worked as a software engineer for about 9 years. Personally, sir, I'm also a mother to a 3-year-old daughter, and my interests include creative pursuits with my daughter as well as reading classic English novels.
Okay. So after spending 9 years in private sector, why do you want to switch over to bureaucracy?
Sir, this dream of joining the civil services goes back to my childhood. We come from a very modest background, and it was very difficult for my parents to even pay my school fees. But I was able to continue my education through the help of school scholarships. And I understood that a single initiative from the government could actually help poor people realize their dreams. And that is what I also wanted to do, sir, through my career.
But what I could study, your salary will go down actually.
Yes, sir. So I'm a very simple person coming from a modest background, and I'm also a minimalist by choice. So I think I'll do very well even with a modest salary.
Okay. So you're from Telangana.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, after the division, uh, Andhra people say that all the assets have gone to Telangana and all the liabilities to Andhra. What is your view?
Yes, sir. I agree to an extent because the crown jewel of the United Andhra Pradesh was Hyderabad and it went to Telangana. So, definitely, there were some grievances that it would be very difficult to build such a world class city for a new state. However, sir, Andhra Pradesh also has a lot of benefits, a very long coastline, and they are starting anew. So, with what Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, the CM of AP, is doing right now with attracting the investments, I think very soon we'll be seeing a rival city even in Andhra Pradesh.
Okay. Uh, your subject is anthropology.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can you tell me something about synthetic theory of evolution?
So, the theory of evolutions had two branches, with the earlier ones with Lamarckism and Darwinism, where organic theories of evolution, which said that evolution happens due to natural selection and the traits that are adaptable to a organism's life, they are favored over the ones that do not. But these did not have any particular proofs because there was no technology to know about how these traits are transferred. But with studies on genes, we were able to provide evidence with respect to the pair of genes and how they divide during the cell division. So all this evidence added a strength to these evolutionary theories. So a combination of all these theories is called synthetic theory of evolution.
Okay. Uh, and how um, the evolution, the man when it evolved, how it traveled, where it originated, and how it traveled. Can you tell me about the travel route?
Yes, it is said that the Homo sapiens, that is the dominant human species now, has originated in the Eastern Africa, in the regions of Kenya, Tanzania, etc. And they moved out of Africa around 60,000 years ago. And they spread along first, they went to the West Asia. And Parallelly, there were also Neanderthals in the northern Europe region. So there was some interbreeding where the Homo sapiens replaced Neanderthals in the northern European regions also, and they slowly traveled across Asia and also entered Indonesia and Australia, sir.
Okay. Is it correct that the brain capacity of Neanderthals were larger than the Homo sapiens?
Yes, it is true. The Homo sapiens have the capacity around 1350 cc, whereas the Neanderthals had about 1450 to even 1500 cc. So yes, they have a huge brain capacity, and they were more evolved to the colder climates of northern Europe. So though brain capacity was more, sir, the Homo sapiens were superior in terms of communication and coordination among different groups.
Okay. Uh, you have opted for foreign service as well.
So this time I have only opted for Indian Administrator Service.
Okay. Okay. But the list says
Uh, yes, sir, that might be old. Yes.
now that you are in IPS, your only option is Indian Administrative Service, is it?
Yes, sir. I could choose IFS also, but I chose only IAS this time.
That's okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. My last question. Tell me is something about this SIR that is agitating many people.
Yes, sir.
Good or bad? Why it is necessary?
Yes, sir. So yeah, SIR, that is the Special Intensive Revision, is the initiative taken by EC to purify the electoral rolls because of the allegations by even the political parties that there were many discrepancies, and also due to migration there were registration in two places and the dead persons were not removed from the rolls. So these are the reasons that necessitated SIR. I feel this is a good initiative, sir, because it will purify the roles and bring sanctity to the electoral process, and it will help the free and fair elections. Although there are many criticisms due to the procedural lapses.
But I'm told the main focus is there are a lot of foreign nationals
Yes,
who
sir.
have got into the electoral rolls through Aadhaar and other documents. So, what
True.
is your view about that?
Yes, I believe it is true to an extent, especially in the border states where many migrants from the foreign countries were able to procure the electoral cards. So, this process will actually cross check them with the previous intensive revision. They will also be asked to produce their birth certificates or other proofs to prove that they are a citizen. So, that will actually help us to give the right to vote only to those deserving.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Srikant.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Uh, you tell me the India budget 2025. What are the main features of that Indian budget?
So the first main feature was the reduction in the tax burden on the people. So the limit was raised to 12 lakhs. So this was to boost the consumption demand among the people. Second, sir, there was a cereals mission, pulses and cereals mission, which was aimed at improving our production in pulses. Third, sir, there was also a specific initiative for agriculture where it found 100 districts which are very poor in productivity, and the focus was on improving the productivity by providing inputs in terms of fertilizers and credit input, etc.
Okay. Suppose you are already selected in IPS, you get into IAS. Suppose you encounter a communal tension in your subdivision.
Yes.
What will be your first reaction in that moment?
So my first reaction would be to uh, reach that place first and get the reinforcements in terms of forces over there. And I would first try to pacify the situation because emotions would be running high. So I would adopt any particular thing that is suitable to that situation to cool down the tensions, be it talking to the people directly, or if it permits, I will interact with the community leaders and get them to that location to talk to the people and stop the violence. Second, sir, to contain the spread of violence to newer areas, I would try to impose an internet shutdown within that limited area. And third, sir, I would also see to it that there is limited loss of life. If people are injured, they get the help, medical help, as soon as possible. And fourth, sir, I would impose any kind of force only if required. So that will be a decision that will be taken on based on the ground situation.
Yeah, we have a Skill India mission also. We come up with the global capability centers, GCCs in Hyderabad, Bangalore, and other metros. What will be the role of GCCs in Skill India? Are they will be able to satisfy the unemployment issues in India?
The global capability centers will augment our capacities in technology throughout the value chain, not just with the front end software development, but it will provide opportunities in the whole ecosystem, being the financial services, legal services, banking, etc. And when coupled with the Skill India mission, if we are able to provide skills which are in demand in today's market, I think it will increase our employment opportunities in all these services sectors.
Yeah,
And
we
AI
are in
is
the
also a part
yeah
of.
yeah. You are in the path of achieving. We are already say 4 trillion, and by 1940s, sorry, 2047 will be the Viksit Bharat with the target we have fixed for achieving 30 to around 30 trillion or so. With the kind of poverty we have and unemployment and other issues, whether is it possible to trace that path and achieve that targets?
Yes, sir. I am very hopeful that India will achieve Viksit Bharat by 2047. The reasons being, sir, we are doing great in terms of tackling poverty. There is a goal to increase the farmers' incomes. We are providing empowerment to the women with respect to employment, education, as well as a financial independence with various schemes across the states. Third, sir, we are also having a huge focus on AI skill development. We have the India AI mission, and the future is going to be all about AI, not just using AI to our progress, but also dealing with the impact of AI on jobs. So we are doing well on both the fronts. So I believe this will remove a lot of people out of poverty as well as provide them with good employment opportunities going forward.
In spite of having our integrated health policies and improvements in health policies, our out-of-pocket expenses are very high compared to in the world.
Yes, sir.
What is the reason for that in health sector?
Yes, so out of pocket expenditure has been high through the history, but recently, because of the Ayushman Bharat, it has been down to a lot of extent. However, there are gaps, especially in the rural areas, where the primary healthcare centers or the secondary healthcare centers are very less. So, due to this, they still depend on the private sector, and due to lack of awareness, they still poor people still spend out of their pocket. So for this, we have to increase our network of hospitals in the rural areas. And also, the insurance should not be provided just for the tertiary sector. There must be focus on the immediate health needs also, like the outpatient needs as well as the health screening. So this must be done on a large scale at the rural level, at the PHC level. So that will further reduce the out of pocket expenditure.
Is there any need to change um, the model of health in India, like Germany, France, whatever, or even UK, something like that, where the free health sector health treatment is totally free and get government provided with the government?
Yes, So, when health services are provided by the government completely free of cost, it is an ideal scenario. But what we see in the European countries, especially in the UK, what it does is it overburdens the healthcare sector, and there are very long waiting times even for critical procedures. So, I think a combination of both public and private will help us provide more services to the public, but the government should keep focusing on strengthening the rural health infrastructure so that the poor are not left out. So there must be a combination of both to serve a population as big as our countries.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Ma'am,
Yes, sir. Welcome, Preethi. So good to see you.
Ma'am.
So your hobby is sustains as a creative pursuit with your daughter. Is
Yes.
it the same hobby?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think you do have time for that?
Yes, ma'am. So I have been working and doing the preparation alongside it. So the time constraint is always there. So what I try to do is come up with creative activities which will keep her engaged, and it will also act as my outlet for creativity and relaxation. So we do several things like painting, origami, making jewelry with papers or beads, etc. So it is a fun activity for both of us.
Okay. So coming to the anthropology as your option. So tell me, what is your understanding on anthropology based on the people that you see? Sir was asking a question about communal conflicts. How do you see the knowledge of anthropology would help you understand the culture and uh, the way that you will tackle the situation?
Yes, ma'am. Anthropological knowledge will help us understand the culture of both the communities, ma'am. So that will also understand what are the rituals and traditions that hold a lot of value for those communities. So we can take care that any kind of event or celebration, which is usually a huge cause for community tensions, we can see to it that it does not offend the other community. We can increase the police presence during those celebrations and see that any kind of act which can flare up tensions will not take place. For example, when there is a huge procession of let's say a Hindu festival, we can see to it that the timings are adjusted, that it does not take a conflict with prayer times of the Muslim community, or any kind of songs that are played are do not offend the other community. So the police can take care of these small things to keep the tensions at the minimum.
But don't you think that, Preeti, the presence of police is not taken in a right way? Sometimes the community is not happy about or not very free about the presence of forces. What do you think about that?
Yes, ma'am, it is true to an extent because the public view the police as someone who wield the force without any consequences, so they are scared. But this can be dealt with by increasing community policing, where police interact a lot with the community. There are community volunteers with whom we interact on a regular basis, so that will create a lot of trust among the people. So I think that will help us to reduce that fear and tension, ma'am.
See, there are English novels, you read English novels, and there are films taken out of English novels. What is the difference? What do you think? Reading is it better than watching, or watching is better than reading?
Ma'am, my personal choice is reading because it helps us to form that picture in our mind itself. It helps us connect a lot with what the novelist is saying. So I would prefer that. However, ma'am, having already read the novels, watching the movies later is a more interesting activity because it helps us compare with the picture that we formed in our mind and how it is portrayed on the screen. So it will bring out the talent of that particular director. So comparing that is also a very interesting activity, I feel.
So coming back to a CSE engineer, you have worked in it. And
Yes.
as a senior software engineer, do you think you will be able to promote AI in administration?
Yes, ma'am. I believe that would be one of my core areas because having seen how AI has evolved being in the software industry and how it has been integrated into the various workflows and what are the challenges that we face, I believe this experience will definitely add to AI integration in administration. I can also focus on bringing about transparency, efficiency, and how we can train our own LLMs to suit our purposes. So I believe these are the areas that would be really uh, where I can contribute with my experience.
Okay, my last question is, recently there are lots of terms coming up in trend like FOMO, FOHO and all. So what is the best term that you like, and what is the trend that you see as an anthropologist?
The best term that I would think of is, ma'am, FOMO, as you mentioned, which I can think of now. But, ma'am, what it says to us is that humans are always thinking about what they cannot do. So there's always this fear, which creates a lot of anxiety, and it forces us to do things that we do not actually do. A good example is how we shop for things, even if we do not need them, and even if we cannot afford them. So that particular fear, it can be removed from the humans through guided meditation, mindful spending. So that is where minimalism also, which I try to follow in my own life, helps. Where we do not buy things just because somebody is buying or just because there is a deal. We should think carefully about whether we need them, whether it is sustainable to own that thing. So that can help us in responsible consumption and helps environment as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Preeti.
Thank you, ma'am.